Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Calliope Music Reviews. My name is Colin, and this is Canon. As you can see, it's dark in here. It's raining outside. The sky is gray, and it's just dreary all around. But tomorrow is Friday. It's the weekend tomorrow, and that's a sign of hope and light to come. With today and today's spirit in mind, allow me to introduce Canadian singer, songwriter, musician, and actor, the most streamed artist in the world, Abel Tesfaye, The Weeknd, and his sixth studio LP, Hurry Up Tomorrow. As stated by the four-time Grammy Award winner, Hurry Up Tomorrow is the final album Abel will be making using the Weeknd moniker, and concludes a trilogy of albums that began with 2020's After Hours and continued with 2022's Dawn FM. This new record continues Abel's signature sultry alternative R&B sound that has resonated with tens of millions of people since its inception way back in 2011 with Abel's debut mixtape House of Balloons. Here we see that oh so familiar mass appealing sound cranked up to 1,000 alongside the synth pop and dance vibrations that The Weeknd has been exploring in his past two albums. This final chapter begins absolutely majestically with the grand synth pop banger Wake Me Up and its incredible thriller-esque synth jabs produced by French electronic duo Justice. The Weeknd then enhances the mood with Cry For Me and its echo chambers of grand 808 bass and delicious melody. Sao Paulo sees guest feature Anitta contribute a Latin flair along a heavy Brazilian funk-inspired beat. Then the remainder of the album dives deep into Abel's discography, grabbing bits and pieces from different eras in his career. The most notable difference on this record is just its extraordinary scale. The Weeknd and his many producers build these massive reverb warehouses for Abel's vocals to really soar over ravines of grand glossy synths, massive keys, and just this diabolical knock your house down bass. Songs like Open Hearts return to After Hours' violent and fastidious synthwave sound, while Timeless brings back Starboy's trap heft, and The Abyss and Red Terror land on the steady dark wave and art pop ballads of The Weeknd's early mixtapes. All of the while, a consistent expansiveness and heavy environment lead the sound to taking the form of a late night drive under the bright lights of a sinful city like
Los Angeles or Las Vegas.
While there are a plethora of tracks here that do little to innovate or introduce anything new or notable, it really is a splendid and important sounding album that plays well into the narrative finality that the album serves as. Hurry Up Tomorrow is in fact a finale, both for The Weeknd as a musical project and as a narrative character. For context here, I want to recap what happened in the story through the trilogy's first two albums, before I get into this one. 2020's After Hours saw The Weeknd's character diving into a reckless life of sin and desire after a particularly difficult breakup. Throughout the record, The Weeknd overdoses and ends in a car accident that leaves the character just moments from death. 2022's Dawn FM picks it up and sees the character stuck in a mental and spiritual purgatory of sorts, allowing the radio of his crashed car to guide him towards the afterlife or possibly even heaven. Ultimately, this fails as The Weeknd holds on to his regrets, remaining in purgatory where we pick up with Hurry Up Tomorrow. This final record takes a rather spiritual turn as The Weeknd sheds himself of previous desires, essentially attempting to reclaim his soul and move on from his old persona. The lyrics paint the picture of a Christian view of redemption, seeing Abel use the metaphor of love to confess his lusts, whether that be sex, drugs, or fame. Now, it's unclear if The Weeknd ultimately receives his redemption by reaching heaven, but the final track concludes with a sort of split personality where Abel is free from The Weeknd's persona as David Lynch's In Heaven is interpolated in epic fashion. This conclusion and the trilogy's narrative as a whole has always been twofold in my opinion. The message and the overarching story of self-destruction, redemption, and enlightenment is satisfying, and the album does a good job of wrapping everything up with hopes of something new and exciting to come. However, the actual lyrics and imagery is a bit redundant and dries itself out as The Weeknd repeats similar lines regarding infidelity, drugs, and other desires throughout not only this trilogy, but his entire career, really. I feel similarly about the actual sound of this record, as its grandness and remembrance of past sounds are really impressive and especially important considering the context of the album. But once again, there are many repetitive and dull moments here, especially when the album becomes quite bloated with over 20 tracks and almost an hour and a half of relatively uniformly produced R&B songs. That is where the record really loses its grip over its runtime, despite a particularly spectacular atmosphere between glitzy synth pop and moody R&B arrangements. Even with this propensity for bloat and reiteration though, I still find myself wowed by the sheer scale of this record and its monumental and always dance-worthy feel. And for that, I'm ultimately feeling a score of a 6 out of 10 for Hurry Up Tomorrow as an entire album. I think the tracks that best exemplify the most interesting The Weeknd has to offer are the first track, Wake Me Up, the second track, Cry For Me, and one of the lead singles, Timeless, featuring Playboi Carti. Alright, that'll pretty much do it for this video. I do hope you enjoyed this little review on The Weeknd's new record. As always, I highly encourage you to form your own opinion and let me know what you think of this record in the comments below. Also, let me know what your favorite era in The Weeknd's career is thus far, or something that you're looking forward to from Abel in the future. And of course, feel free to suggest any other album, artist, or project that you would like me to cover in the future as well. And with that, this has been The Weeknd, the Music Canon, and I will see you